Yo, duder.
Hey, Vibe.
I
How are you?
uh, I just want to say, I saw your confused-looking face, but it was not shown on stream. Yeah, I think.
For that,
Yeah,
yeah, I had a whole bunch of video calls earlier for work and I forgot to unplug the camera. So
yeah,
this is off to a really good start.
yeah. You're all good. So don't worry, you weren't. Yeah, you weren't shown on stream. Yeah, no one got to see you in your underwear. It's okay. No, okay. So how you doing, man? How's it
Awesome.
going?
Good. How about you?
I'm pretty good. I'm chilling. Um, Busy day for me, but yeah,
Yeah, I can see.
yeah, man. So like, I wasn't expecting to do the free for all stuff today, but it ended up happening today. And when you and I scheduled this coaching lesson, it was before the free for all thing happened. So I was like, oh god, here we go. Friday's gonna be jam packed. But that doesn't matter at all because guess what? I we got your time slot. It's reserved, and it's gonna be a perfect coaching lesson.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate that. And
You're
yeah,
welcome.
I know you're doing a whole lot, and you know, I know I as a viewer definitely enjoy listening to all the coaching lessons, but it can
Thanks,
be
man.
hard. So thank you again.
No, it's all good. I appreciate it. I think it's easier to like sometimes when I do replay analysis, I get carried away just like with my tangents, and I go full on like explaining like what needs to happen and things like that. Like, and I almost talk as if I'm talking to like I try to keep the league in mind, but I sometimes talk as if I'm talking to like a peer, like someone who's like the same league
Hmm.
essentially. But if I'm actually coaching and I have a conversation with someone, it's a lot easier to stay on point with what that person needs to hear because they'll give you
Hmm.
back and forth. But yeah. Anyways, you tell me what's going on. What? Wait. No, it's the replay we did, right? We did the 1v1, and you want me to go over it and talk about what you should have done, right? That's what this is.
Yeah, so I can provide a little more context. So, I've been using, I guess you can call it like, I don't know if Zest was the one that made it, but
Okay.
the Void Ray build versus Zergs, and it's been working pretty well. Um, and I feel like Zergs are starting to go into like just turtle mode and go into late game with like a whole lot of static D and Vipers, and they just kind of pick off, carriers, Tempest here and there. And I had been using just war prisms and run bys to kind of get around it, but um, I feel like that's just kind of a tough one for me to kind of get through. So
Yeah.
I was hoping, because I think you actually did that in our game, is you had a whole lot of static D. And by the way, I should say I stayed in our game way longer than I should have, only because I wanted to just have a couple skirmishes as well, because I feel like sometimes my engagements could definitely be better. So I was hoping
Well, it's
maybe we
okay.
could
Like,
talk about that a little bit.
I would say honestly, in ZVP Skytoss versus just like Zerg, whatever Zerg's doing, it's
Hmm.
if you have the means to max out again, you're totally viable to stay in the game as well. There's a lot of things that can happen so suddenly in that matchup that change
Hmm.
the pacing of what's going on. And the idea you're talking about, where you're saying you do warp prisms and you do run bys, that's definitely what you should keep doing. Don't ever stop doing that.
Hmm.
Uh, that is a big part of it because part of what those do is only like 50% of the side of a run by of zealots is doing damage with those zealots,
Hmm.
like the actual damage that they do. But the other 50% of like what a zealot run by does is it distracts and it pulls Zerg, especially if it's a successful one. It pulls Zerg
Hmm.
out of position to let you do other things to fuck Zerg over, like blind Zerg through creep, or pop other expansions that Zerg may have on the other side of the map. So it's really easy to
Hmm.
like counterattack the right with a run by, and then push the left with a real army, and then not only you kill all the creep there, but you set up a position that's hard for Zerg now to deal with.
Hmm.
So, but it really comes down to Zerg as well to see how good they are at multi-pronged defending. So, a lot of times too is, and we'll jump into the replay in a second here and talk more about it specifically. But a lot of times,
Sure.
what ZVP really turns into is it's a late game a bank account versus a bank account, and like who can
Hmm.
successfully deplete their bank account slower. So like they're both going to deplete your bank account because whenever you do a run by, either you're Zerg or Protoss, you don't have the intention of going, oh well, I'm just going to kill him now. Like you always have the intention of going, I'm going to lose these units, but in the process, I hope they do some damage. So it's like
Hmm.
you're already taking a loss, but you want your opponent to take a bigger loss, And if they can take a bigger, obviously, if you successfully do that multiple times, you slowly start winning the game because you deplete their bank, and that means that the big fight that's about to happen, whenever it happens, is easier for you to manage because they can't replace what dies, whereas you can, and it works the same way on both sides. That is the overall goal of that matchup. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying, and I don't know. I feel like, geez, what was I gonna say? I just had a point. Now I'm forgetting it, but um, we'll come back to it
Sure.
anyway.
If you think about it,
Oh,
just say it again.
now I remember.
Okay.
So what I was gonna say is, usually I can, like if I'm actually really paying attention, I can kind of see when a Zerg is turtling. Like they'll just throw up a lot of spines way too early.
Yeah.
And at that point, I just kind of get super greedy, and I'll just take bases I shouldn't because I don't really fear an attack. So those games typically go well, but I thought in the one that we played, you did a really good job of just using Lings to stop me from doing that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think just going through the game, we'll kind of get some.
That sounds
We'll
good.
get a good vibe of it, and
So-
then I also. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, is your game? Do you want me to watch it myself with like Discord view screen, or is this in the current patch where we can both watch it together?
I think it's from the current patch
can't
because it was
remember.
only it was like last week maybe.
You can try. You can just, if you have access to it really easy, you can just host it for both of us on BattleNet, and then we can watch it together. But if for whatever reason it doesn't work, I can just open up the replays on Discord, and then I can just have you watch my Discord with like share screen. Either way works, honestly. You know what? Fuck it. Let's just do share screen. It's super easy peasy.
Okay.
And then you can just watch my Discord instead of StarCraft. So
Yeah, that's fine.
yeah, what's and that way you also see my perspective as I talk, which will probably be even better for you. What is the first one you want to look at? All in or the VOD?
So the first one we should do the one, like definitely the one that you and I did was I think better for me. I sent you the second one just in case we had time. It was like a 4-minute game against a GM Zerg that it might only take 30 seconds to go through it, honestly, but I was curious.
Do you want to? Okay, you know what? I'm gonna go probably pretty in depth on this one. How about I go through the all in really fast, and then I don't go through like your macro. I just go through what thought process you should have had as you saw whatever's happening, and then tell you like what you should be looking at and what you should be trying to find out and how you can react to whatever is happening to you.
Yeah, that would be perfect.
Okay, so I'm gonna share the screen now with StarCraft. Share my screen on SE2. So now you should be able to see on Discord my full screen. All right, now go to your vision. Okay, so I'll speed through it pretty fast on this one. Okay, good. I like you're not gonna pylon scout unless you want to do like adept pressure. I like the pylon. I like the fact that you wait to build a gateway then scout. So you scout, you're building probes and shit behind this, blah blah blah. As you get to the guy's base, you saw a drone leave his base. You didn't see a natural. You saw 3 eggs. These 3 eggs automatically if you see 3 eggs like that at this time, you automatically know there's a pool. This is not Overlord drones. This is definitely 3 lings coming, and you're going to see a pool that's going to be done. And there's the pool that's done. The reason why is because there is only ever a moment where a Zerg could have 3 eggs sitting there at one point in time. And if you saw those 3 eggs sitting there at one point in time, that would be that moment when the Zerg player made their first Overlord and it spawned. And this was at 14 supply. And then they made 15 and 16 drones. So now they're at 16 supply. And then 17 supply, like the 17th larva supply drone. It starts like as drones 15 and 16 are like already halfway done or like 2/3 of the way done. So that would be around for you around 17 supply. So if we go back and we look at this, you are getting to his base when you're fucking 20 supply. That's something you'd probably see if you pylon scouted him. But because you gateway scout, which is much later, that's way fucking later than the 17th drone, right? Because you're already at you're rocking 20 supply yourself here as like pretty much as you arrive. In like 2 seconds. And now this you can guarantee, like obviously you're going to see the pool, but guaranteed fucking lings are coming. And now the only thing you want to see from here is you want to see does this dude have gas or not. You actually didn't check the other gas. I would say you didn't see the gas coming into the hatchery, but even seeing that if the gas was just about to finish is kind of a big deal. Because you don't have to go, you don't always have to go gas before pool. You could go gas after pool if you wanted to. But so like looking at your drone or your probe for a second, If it just moves slightly more up
Yeah,
around
I
the top of the
started to
hatchery.
click, but then
Yeah.
I clicked off it because you'll see I have a probe already moving to put the cyber down and complete the wall,
Sure.
but
Yeah. That's good. That's what you should be
yeah,
doing.
that's a good point.
But like the gas, like you can at least you can see there's no drone currently returning the gas with like mineral like gas in its hand. So you know, okay, well there's not an active gas going yet. So if there was a gas, maybe it's like just now finishing. If it's going to be threatening, because the thing that would be scary for you is if this was going to be a gas follow up, this could turn into like really quick roaches or like really quick banes or some shit like that. But I would say, based off everything, the fact that you don't see a drone here, I would love it if you confirmed it, but the fact that you don't see a drone here probably means there's no gas. And the fact that you saw a drone earlier was a huge catch, because that means there's probably a macro hatch, like a proxy hatch up here somewhere. Like that, there's no fucking reason why a drone's ever going to leave like that. So if I were you, the best thing I would do is I would take this probe and I would go, okay, I saw the probe or the drone going this way. I saw him going north. So I should take my probe now. And as I leave the base, I'm going to instantly check this again, because I'm always, if your probe is there, it's going to be within vision range to see this. So I would tell my probe to go north like this and just see if the guy is trying to meta you by doing a macro 12 pull. And he's actually going to take an expansion here and not a proxy hatch. Because if there's no fucking hatchery here either, it's a proxy hatch. If there is a hatchery here, it's just weird macro essentially. So if your probe runs back the way it came, I would say it's a missed opportunity to find out if there's a hatchery there. And your probe goes... There's the lings. Your probe actually looks like it's going to die. So now you don't know if it's proxy or not. You can assume it is because the drone ran north. But if you... Like, the thing is if you overreact to the thought of, oh, it's a proxy hatch, and it's not a proxy hatch because you didn't check and see if it was actually just like a weird simmy... Like, he wanted to make it... He like wanted to meta you, essentially. And you're like, okay, let's be super defensive now. And he's just actually macroing. You'll fall super far behind in the macro game. Which would suck, right? So you chrono boost out a zealot, correct, for the 12 pull. And okay, well now you don't have to look anymore. Now
So
you know.
yeah, this is the weird part.
So what this means, I can tell you what this is going to happen now. What you should do is the way this is going to go for Zerg, right? He wants to legit kill your fucking wall. He doesn't kill. He wants to lock your zealot into the fucking doorway of hatchery core, or of the core in the gateway, so that you can smack this hatchery all day with the zealot, all fucking day, and you won't kill it because it builds faster than one zealot can damage it. And in the process of your zealot being locked in while it smacks the hatchery, he's going to not only secure larva, because you actually spawned on the north side and larva is always on the south side of the hatchery, so this guy probably only does this all in when he spawns on the south side of maps like this. So now his larva is safe, so he can spend his larva when the hatchery's done. But he can also kill your core and gateway simultaneously, with your zealot not able to do anything. So what you should do as a response to this is not build a nexus. You should immediately have the idea where you go, oh, yep, my nexus is going, or my gateway and my core are going to die. So how about I build a backup wall of that? Because this is super all in. This is a fucking proxy hatch. So I would say you don't need to build a core as a follow-up yet, but you will probably want to build one soon. Cancel this zealot. You don't need a second zealot right now. I would say build another gateway. Can you see my green boxing right now? Just out of curiosity.
Yep.
Okay, good.
Yep.
I wasn't sure if you could see my mouse. So build another gateway right there. Build another gateway right there. I think you can. You might not be able to. If you can't fit it in, you just want to fill this in with pylons then. And then you'd want to build another gateway like right there. You want to wall in with gateways behind this. Like make a second wall behind the wall. And then and then let your zealot still smack the fucking hatchery all day. And then you want to build your second core like up here, so you don't expose it this time around. And you're going to want to do it. And you want to do this also while you take gases. So you already are doing it. This is correct. You're making an adept now, which is correct. Your core is way too close. The reason why is because your second wall might break as well, and you don't want the core to break. And also, you don't want to rush the core either, because the thing is if you rush to multiple gateways faster, if you just make an initial round of gateway units, like some adepts or some stalkers behind a wall, you'll be able to defend this. And then only when you have, like, let's say you have a second gateway really fast, like the second the hatchery went down, immediate second gateway, and then another gateway. So you have 3 gates right away because you're not expanding because this is super all in. You would be able to make 3 units out of your core before, like, or 3 units out of each gateway before the core dies, and you'd probably be able to make 2 units out of the first gateway because this gateway is up longer because it's already done. So you'd be able to probably make like 2 units out of this gate and then 1 unit out of the other 2 gates behind it before the core dies. And as the core, I would say, as the core gets into like health, and you know, if you're like, okay, I know I can't save it. There's no fucking way. He's got too many lings on it. Like, cause there's a chance, right? He might have had all of his lings in the gate, like a derp, and you're like, okay, well, he's not gonna kill the core, I guess. My adept will come out in time to save it. But if you know, if it starts breaking into health and you're like, yeah, no, my core is gonna die, definitely start a new one in a safe area. The fact that you started it here, it could die again, but it's whatever. You did it, so it's done. But you really want to have more than 1 gateway here. This is really scary for you because the thing that would kill you is if this hatchery doesn't die, and the gateway and the core do die, and now he has more lings coming across the map, and even furthermore, what if this guy brings like 2 drones as the hatchery's done, and he builds like 2 spines, and now you don't have enough units to stop the spines, and he makes a queen at the proxy hatch, and he just fucking full on like proxies you with everything. But that could totally kill you. So more units faster need to be made because look at your money. You have so much minerals and you're not utilizing it because you just waited too long to make extra gates. And the extra zealot is doing nothing. Like, the big problem you're having as well here is you should have genuinely walled the zealot to his death. The fact that you have a doorway that's open still is bad. So if you could have fit another gateway in here, if it was big enough, which it's not, or is it? I think it actually is, dude. Like,
it is, yeah. Like, I panicked.
Yeah, you should have definitely put a gateway here. And what you could do then is you could actually have the zealot, this one zealot, smack the hatchery, and then as soon as the gateway breaks, back him up into the doorway, just like you were before. And then you have more units that are ranged spawning behind it. The fact that you have a big open doorway here is a scary problem. I think also you're going in the misconception that you're going to kill the hatchery. Don't even try to kill the hatchery. Like, weaken it as long as you can until your core breaks and until your gateway breaks. But do not have the idea that you go, oh yeah, I'm going to kill the hatchery before it's done. That's never going to happen. That would only happen if the Zerg was really bad with the Zerglings, and you have to kind of like assume the Zerg has a brain to a degree. So like the fact that you fought in the open there was a big blunder for you. Again, all it should have been is you should just keep making units. I would seriously, I would say if you want to make adepts, make only 1. Literally, and there's the spines, right? Make only fucking 1 adept. That's it. Make stalkers behind it, because again, if you're making adepts because you go, I want to kill Zerglings. And then that's nice. And if I somehow kill the Zerglings, I can counterattack your base and kill all your drones. That'd be fucking wonderful. But you're not killing the hatchery. That is not happening. You're going to kill the hatchery much later. You're not killing it with your first 1 unit or first 2 units. So if you make stalkers behind 1 adept, or if you just straight up make stalkers and don't even make adepts, period, they are way better at killing spines and killing a hatchery and killing queens than an adept is. And it doesn't matter if it's an adept or a stalker. If you're fighting it over a door, like a wall, where you're shooting over buildings, or you're fighting it in a doorway, you're never going to lose those units either way. Like, your adepts or your stalkers should never die versus slow lings when you have wall here. And if you had stalkers shooting the hatchery, you would eventually kill the hatchery. You just wouldn't rush it down. And the fact that you only have 1 gateway here is, now you have 2. It was pretty scary. And now you're making zealots again, which is a massive mistake. You want to be making stalkers. Because you keep putting yourself in the situation where you're fighting the Zerg player outside of your base. You want to fight inside your base in a doorway. So, like, for instance, if you made the gateway here, if your core, at this point right here, when your core was dying, if this was a gateway, okay, like that pylon's there, you have a gateway here, you have another gateway here. Those gateways there and there would be connected. Then you'd have a discrepancy of a situation where there's going to be a 3-pixel gap where the gateway ends right here. There's another, you could fit literally another building there to fully to fully seal it off. So if you put a pylon there, you would have a doorway where it's like a stalker could fit right there. And now if you had a stalker that's fitting right there with a pylon there, and then you could put more, like another gateway behind the pylon. So another gateway could have gone in like right up against the wall there above the pylon. You'd still have a doorway between gateway pylon there. Your stalker could still run up and like backwards because it's not, you're not connecting the, like you see how the core and the pylon don't touch? It would still be open. So your stalker could literally retreat if it needed to even further back when the core breaks. So it could retreat back into now between, or like when the pylon breaks even. So if he breaks the pylon, you retreat again back into now gateway and other gateway and up in here. Because the gateway would be long enough to, like if this gateway was up by 1, it would be long enough to like have a doorway here where you could take advantage of. So it's just always trying to leave a one little like snake doorway. So like it starts here and you just snake up a doorway as much as you can fit it into your base. So if it means putting a gateway 1 to the right over here, that's fine. If not, if you can fit it in perfectly, then wonderful. But you need a doorway. The fact that you wall yourself in entirely is really bad, because now you can't actually abuse the Zerg anymore. If you fight the Zerg on the outside, you're getting fully surrounded by Zerglings. And if you fight the Zerg on the inside, you can't shoot the hatchery if you're too far away, and you can't do anything about spine crawlers. So all that means is your next wall is also going to break. So you need a doorway. There has to be a doorway. So that was just the way you built it was incorrect, and the units you built was incorrect. Definitely make stalkers here. I would say 1 zealot and a stalker, 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 stalker is how I would defend this.
Does anything change if the Zerg does have gas for speedlings?
If the Zerg does have gas, and let's say he has gas like first, I would still do the same thing, honestly. The reason why is because if the Zerg proxies a hatchery like this is too big of an investment for there to be much variance. The only variance would be literally if there was speedlings or not speedlings. And if there was an investment of speed, this hatchery would be a little bit later. Because he wouldn't be able to build it as fast and also have speedlings really early. It would be impossible because
yeah,
he's doing this without gas. So stalkers win either way, because stalkers should never be getting surrounded in the open, ever. Like stalkers should be poking the hatchery in your doorway. Like you don't have, like what I mean is I wouldn't be like have 4 stalkers in a concave like that, or like 5 in a concave like that. Definitely don't do that. Have like 1 stalker in your doorway, and then if other stalkers can't shoot it, maybe move your doorway, snake it out a little bit to like that. So you have literally stalker on stalker on stalker. Like every stalker is like holding the other stalker's shoulders in front of it. Like it's like a conga line of stalker. That way if lings try to like run at you, he gets stuck against the edge of your stalkers, and you can literally walk your line of stalkers backwards into your base, and you just like snake back into your base again. And now he can't surround you. Because if your units are like literally smushed into each other on like attack hatchery command, they won't move because lings are attacking them. Only workers act like that with AI. Units don't work like that. Like stalkers would not move around. So that would be all you would do here. And so you slowly kill the hatchery, but you do it with stalkers. You don't do it with zealots. So the fact that you keep making zealots here, you just keep giving him the advantage of, like I said before, you're fighting in the open where he can actually outnumber you. And then he breaks you because you have no retreat. And now at this point, you've lost so many units that now literally all you, and you delayed gateways, and you've lost so many units that now all you have is 1 adept by the time his spines are done, when this should actually be like 5 stalkers. Because again, if you made like 3 gates really early, remember I was saying you could get 1 zealot and then like a stalker out of your first gateway, and then you could get like 2 stalkers out of your second 2 gateways. That's 3 immediately. And while your first gateway then dies, you could then probably make 2 more stalkers again out of your back 2 gates. And now you're sitting at 5 fucking stalkers really early. And you could 100% have afforded it if you look at the amount of money you have. Because you have 7 batteries, which is a shitload of minerals. And then you also have, you know, you already have your backup core. And you also have your backup 2 gates that would have been there either way. It's just you built them late. Well, the first one was decent, but the second one was super late. And yeah, that's really all it is. Your adept does nothing to those spines, and the spines are the real problem here. The reason why the reason why the spines are the problem here too, as well, is because if he has 1 ling, if he has 20 lings, if he has 300 lings, the lings cannot damage your stalker by more than 1 ling per hit. And obviously he's not gonna have 300. He's gonna have probably like 16. So his lings, like the fact that he only has like 16 or like 10 or whatever, and you're killing them every second that goes by as well with your stalker, it matters a lot. Because he'll never have enough lings to break the second wall when your stalkers start growing to 3, 5, 7, blah, blah, blah. Like, he'll start killing lings faster than he builds them. Especially if he's trying to smash a gateway. The real problem becomes the spine crawler. And if you have adepts, you cannot kill a spine crawler. Like, you're never going to kill a spine with adepts. Especially 2 spines. Stalkers can, though. Stalkers beat the shit out of a spine crawler. Because they have a massive armored attack. So stalker, good to go unit here, and yeah, the correct wall, how we talked about it, and that's ideally how you'd want to do it. Just takes practice, I guess. But yeah, now you kind of understand. Any questions? Or?
Yeah. No, honestly, that all makes sense, and I think I think you're right. I think I panicked and made the second cyber way too quick, and I undervalued the value of getting the extra gate behind it.
Yeah, because you got to think about this too. If you start a stalker before the core is dead, it doesn't cancel the stalker.
Right. Yeah.
So the core is only important to the point to where it needs to stay alive long enough for the other gates to go up, and it was definitely alive long enough for that. But then once you realize that if the Zerg is intelligent with his lings, because again, you don't know what he's going to do. There's also variants on what he can do. But if he's like kind of bad, if he's not as good as what he should be doing, if he doesn't fully understand the situation as much, to the point to where you can actually save the core, and the way you can really dictate that is you wait until it breaks shields, and now it has the other 50% of its health in actual health, and you go, okay, there's no fucking way I'm killing these lings off the core. Well, you still have like 20 seconds or like 15 seconds before the core dies, because he doesn't have a full surround on it. It's like 3 lings hitting it, and that's it. And there are no upgrades at all. So you have quite a bit of time still to have before the core really does die. But if you know it's just going to die because it's being swarmed and overwhelmed at that point, like there's too much of a pile up, and you go, cool, I guess I'll make another gateway. Or another core, I mean. But if you actually were, like, if he was at a point where there's only 5 lings left, and your core still has like 150 shields left on it, and you have like 2 stalkers shooting lings off of it, and you're like, well, his lings are getting off the core now because they're going to die before they can kill it, guaranteed. I can actually save the core now. Then you don't have to build one. Then you're like, cool, I guess I saved the core. He focused way too much on the gateway side rather than the core side. Stuff like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. And last question I would ask about this one is, at any point would you is there a certain point at which you would recommend putting down a robo or something, just to get an immortal out if needed, or just straight gateway?
That would be after you kill the hatchery entirely. Like,
Okay.
if you kill the hatchery entirely and you go, good fucking god, this guy built like 4 spines, 5 like spines in general. He added spines to this. He proxied a hatch. He built 2 queens. He nonstop sent lings at me, and I held it like I'm holding hard. Like I feel confident that I'm able to spend my money. I'm at like 7 stalkers, and my money is at 300 minerals and 180 gas. And I can either make another gate, I can make a nexus, or this guy's super all in. How about I just make a robo and I make a warp prism and I send stalkers to his base because he'll never break. Like that'll just kill him. Or I'll make immortals and I'll walk across the map with those and kill him. Like you can make the decision then, but that will be after you've already guaranteed that you're going to hold it with your gateways. But you should never fight that and go, I need a robo to hold this, because you don't.
Mm.
If you think about it that way and you go, well, I'm just going to tech to a robo and hold it with that, there's a very good chance you're going to break before the robo even helps you. Because that's a lot
that
of
makes sense.
that's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot of fucking resources to invest into the first immortal and also the robo itself. It's like 525 minerals and 200 gas just to start an immortal. That's not even that's not attributing to the fact that you have to wait for it to spawn, and it's like a
build time. And
yeah,
everything.
it's like a 43-second build time or some shit. So it's a long time for that shit to come out, or like 36. I think it's like 43, but you get the point. It's like it's just not it's impractical. You'd probably die before it really helps you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, now this one is the game we played, and we'll watch it from your perspective and talk about what you're doing. And we'll go more in depth again with your side. I'm gonna quickly just look at your build and see if I think your build looks appropriate. Like just overall for what a build should be. I'm gonna ×8 this shit just to see if it looks normal.
Yeah, please do.
That way I don't spend a lot of time just like theory crafting what I think you should be doing if you're not doing what I think you're gonna do. Because I kind of remember this game, but from like my perspective. Okay, you make a Stargate, Stalker, Adept, Void Ray. You save your third. Your third went down pretty fast. Your third base is saturated pretty fast. You're going into charge +1, more gates, double Stargate. Yeah, your build looks fine overall. The ideology of your build is fine. So I'll go back a little bit now and talk about your scouting and like your reactions of how you build things, like order of what you do. Okay, so you scout my base with the probe. Let's go right to when it got to my base. So I want to see what you see, and I want to see how long you stay here for. Okay, so your probe gets in my base after the gateway. You see a hatchery that's on its way. You scout behind my mineral line. You see no gas. You see gas pool. Very fucking standard from Zerg. Super standard from Zerg. I would say with this build, with the timing of how everything has gone down, this build, the way you don't even need to check the third, and here's why. This is all my money. There's no way I can afford a third base this fast, because this is what would tell you there's a third base, okay? So seeing this is very standard. This is very standard timing for hatchery first off of gateway scout with probe. Then you go further into my base, and this is the huge trick right here, okay? The big trick. You see, look at my larva. You see one larva sitting there and one egg sitting there. And now you see 2 eggs sitting there for a split second before you left. So you kind of didn't really give yourself a lot of time to look at the larva for a second. You it was very like split second, like, oh, they're gone. But now you see it again for a split second, see it again for a split second. You see it again for a little, like maybe like this one's like 2 seconds. My larva is fully spent. And but with a standard hatchery timing, I'm also taking a really quick, like in the time it took you to go from your probe going into my main base, I already have a gas and a pool started. So this is very standard Zerg playstyle. And the only way I would ever have anything else besides what anything that you have not seen yet, the only way it would ever exist is if there were 3 larvae sitting on that hatchery. Legit 3 larvae just not being used. And you were like, wait, okay. Zerg has a pool, a gas, and a hatch when I get to his base with the gateway scout. How the fuck does he have a third as well? And it would only make sense if I just saved my money after building his buildings and was like, let's take a hatch as well, another one. And I just don't spend larva on drones at all. I spend 0 larva because that's where the differential would be. But if I do spend my larva and like fully spend it and I have no larva sitting there and it's all eggs, it's literally impossible to afford a third base at this point. The earliest, realistically, I would ever afford it in an efficient way would be around when you are like 30 supply. So around like 2 minutes to like 215, 220, anywhere in there. It depends on my gas as well, and the fact that I took it early would put it more in like the 215, 220 area. If I didn't have a gas at all, so if let's say I had a pool and no gas and I was still spinning my larva, I would then have a third base a little faster, but still probably not until around like 2 minutes. Or like 152 minutes, like still much later. So you scouting a third base right now is not necessarily needed. I would say, honestly, you could just send this probe home if you wanted to.
Get coins at rally.io.
I think I sent it back to check the gas timing, because I wanted to see when you pulled drones off your gas for your third.
So your probe's gonna be sitting here for a long time then. And I would say this. Your build order, let's watch your, so let's look at your build order for a second. Like, what do you do with the core? I want to see what you do with the core. Okay, you get Warp Gate and you go Stalker. So check this out. If your probe sees this right here, right now, this moment right here, like 1:15 or whatever. Once you see this right here, and you go, okay, cool. Larva's all being spent before the pool's done, because the pool just started, and the hatchery's down. This is hatchery gas pool. Or really, it's actually hatch pool gas, but whatever. But both gas and pool are down. That's the point. What this tells you, this is what this tells you, okay? You as a player don't even need to give a shit about what I take off gas. And the reason, like, if I keep mining gas beyond 100, if I don't, it doesn't matter. And the reason why is because you automatically know you can now, without being attacked, build a Stargate before you build a Warp Gate upgrade and a Stalker. You could then build a Warp Gate upgrade and a Stalker after you build the Stargate, because what can I attack you with? I literally can't attack you with anything. It's a standard build, which means my pool is normal. It's not before the hatchery. So I literally can't make a Ling fast enough to do any pressure to you. If you go Stargate first and then make a Stalker, you will have a Stalker done in the doorway before I can make a Ling, run it across the map, and get in your base. It's impossible to get in your base now if you do that build order. So if you go Stargate first, if I all-in you or if I don't, you will never die, because if I all-in you really fast with like Banelings or Roaches, which is the only thing I could really effectively do to you before you attack me, like, because again, you're going to attack me with Voids. That's what this build does, right? So if you attack me with Voids, They're the only things I could do to you before you actually felt safe enough to push my base would be a Roach All-In or a Bane All-In with gas. Or just straight up mass speedlings. But every single build would fail because you have voids so fast. That's why you don't need to stay here with this probe. It could literally go home now. You've seen everything you need to see. Because again, your build order is Stargate opener with void. If your build order was like council first, I'd be like, yeah, maybe stick around for a little while, because if you make a depths and I go roaches, you're gonna die. But it's voids, and voids. This is why voids is so popular. No one gives a fuck. You're just like, oh, cool. You're going fucking gas standard. I'll just make void rays, and I don't care what you do. I beat everything early game. I can't die. Because shield battery and also void rays early game literally beat everything Zerg can do off of hatchery tech. So this probe is just, honestly, it's just wasting time. It could be mining more.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you feel about
good
that?
to know.
Does that make you feel confident? Make sense?
Yeah, I usually err on the side of caution, so that's why I get Warp Gate and the Stalker first, just to, like, if a Zerg is greedy with their OV, you know, I want to feel extra safe. But what you're saying now, just I could be even more efficient.
Yeah.
Which is good
Because
to know.
what it does too, this is the other things that it does. You get Stargate faster. It makes you safer to all-ins faster because you have a faster void to not only defend yourself, it also allows you to take a third faster. It also allows you to then set up voids to attack him faster. So you could kill my drones faster as well. Like the Stalker being really... Because watch your Stargate. Or sorry, I mean, watch your Gateway. Look at the Stalker.
Mm-hmm.
You build it really fast. And now what does it do after this? So it's Stalker spawns at 244. Now what does your Gateway do? It's chilling. The Gateway is literally doing nothing. And this is now you built a unit like, you know, almost like 20 seconds after the Stalker finished, basically. And now it's an Adept, which is, this is totally fine. But in that 20-second discrepancy where the Gateway did nothing, that could have been 20 seconds of doing nothing at first, because you prioritize the Stargate first, and then you make this the Stalker afterwards, and you still will kill the Overlord either way. But check this out. Look at watch this. Look at my vision. I still know you're going Stargate either way. Like, it doesn't matter that you kill my Overlord. So
I thought you didn't see it.
Yeah, like it. And even if the thing is even if I don't see your Stargate with my Overlord, I can already tell very likely what you're going to do as well. It's very easy for Zerg to read Protoss based on how fast you want to expand. So if I have, and also what you have in your doorway. So if I'm looking at your base, and if you're going to go for any expansion, anything for a third base that is before 4 minutes and like 40 seconds, 100% you have a Stargate. If you ever took a third base as Protoss with a Robo or a Council with a third base that is before 440, that third base is 100% going to die every time. The only fucking way Protoss could ever defend their third base before 4 minutes and 40 seconds is with a Stargate, and let's see when you take it.
I usually try to hit around 345.
Exactly, and I would automatically, even before you show me a Void Ray, even if your Stalker killed my Overlord before your first Void Ray is even out on the game, I would already know this is a Stargate as your opponent. So you're not hiding anything. You're trying to, like, I think it's great that you take a third base so fast, but the other thing that's kind of scary is if your Void Ray is delayed like this, you also have, if Zergling Speed finishes at 330, there is a window of time here where I could kill your third. Because if your Void's not here and I just overpower your Adept, you could totally lose the third base. So the only point I'm trying to make here is I'm trying to make you feel confident in the fact that Stargate before Stalker is always the better choice if the Zerg goes Hatchery before Pool. The only time you should ever go Stalker first, like a unit before Stargate, is if it's Pool before Hatchery. And that means you're going to get attacked really fucking heavily early by some Lings before you can even have a Stargate done. Because it's like a 12 Pool or some shit, or like a 13-12. Okay, and then secondly, this is super risky what you're doing here too. And look at your Void Ray does as well. You fly across the top looking for Overlords to kill, and then you go down looking for Overlords to kill. So
Get coins at rally.io.
Osiris, thank you, man. Much love. Thank you, thank you. The whole point of you just trying to hide Stargate tech is just irrelevant. Just play the game with the concept of knowing Zerg is going to know you're going Stargate, and just going, even though I know you know what I'm doing, what are you going to do about it? Because when a Zerg player knows you're going Stargate, and when they don't know you're going, like, okay, well, let me say it like this. This, like I said before, there's so many things about your build that already reveal Stargate even before they see an actual Void Ray, if you were to be able to hide it to this point, that the fact that your build is revealed before it does damage means the Zerg can prepare for defense before they take damage. But if your attack happens faster, it means your chance of doing damage for real goes up because you're hitting Zerg at, like, you know, an earlier time of the game by like 20 seconds faster, which could be the difference of like an extra queen or queens in the right position or something like that. So definitely always go Stargate first. And the second thing I would say, this is a scary thing, okay? I would say, to be extra safe, only ever put so the fact that you do 2 adepts, I agree, that's great, wonderful, I love it, that's super good. But don't ever move out your first Void Ray unless you do this. We'll go back to when your first Void Ray spawns. So right now, okay, so your adept and your pylon and your nexus are all together. This is nice because it's like holding the area essentially. You're bottlenecking your adept to where if lings show up, it'll be harder for it to die. What you should do though, as a follow-up to this, is you should increase the bottleneck a little bit. So when the pylon's done, like your probe should still be here essentially. And if you see lings approaching, because what is this probe really doing? He goes back to an oversaturated mineral line. Like, not a big deal. If the probe is here, way better. And here's why. Here's why this is important, okay? If your first void spawns faster, which would be nice, your first void could start going out to go across the map, or you can hunt overlords or whatever you want to do. If you left the probe here right now, and you saw, oh shit, lings are on their way. Like you should be expecting it between when your pylon is done, like, or before your pylon's done, beyond 3:30. This is that fucking scary time for Protoss. If your probe is sitting right here, what you could do is you could build a second pylon right there, and you could hold position your probe. And what that does is it completely alleviates half the surface area of your adept. And unless the Zerg player is smart and actually physically tells his lings to focus fire the probe as well, his lings will ignore the probe. And they will run all around and be stupid as fuck and get caught on the probe and be like, and then run over here and try and hit the adept from the other side. And this buys you time to make more adepts, and it also buys you time to pull back your Void Ray to save your base so it doesn't die. But the way you've done it here, if I showed up with like 16 lings right now, or like 20 lings right now, I could kill the pylon, and I could also kill your adept. Because you don't have enough defense here.
ViBE coin from rally.io.
Thank you, Osiris. Much love, dude. I'll put you in the bracket for later. Thank you. So does that make sense? Ben?
It does, and I think I rally the second void to the third as a
That's good.
stage. But I could be wrong though.
No,
but I see what you're saying.
You do rally the second void, but you have to realize 3:30 is the start of the danger window.
Mm-hmm.
And this is fucking scary. The fact that you don't have the ability to have a longer wall here, of a longer hallway. Like, you could even have a probe if you panicked really hard. You could even have the probe build a second pylon right there and just wall it off. And the probe would probably pop out on this side. And then your adept would still only be getting one spot of surface area. You don't have to let that pylon finish. It's just to buy you time so your adept doesn't get surrounded as much. Because you got to realize, one pylon and one nexus is not enough to fully make a hallway. 2 lings could hit you from both sides. So you're still getting a very good surface area surround on the adept with the lings. But if you have 2 pylons, it's a longer hallway because you have to realize, like, look at the pylon. Like, it's not fully creating a hallway. Like, lings could actually fit quite heavily in that doorway, and they could fit heavily in this doorway. But if your adept could stand between 2 pylons, only 1 ling at a time could fit on both sides. Is that, like, you know what I mean? The pylon's not big enough to create a big hallway.
Mm-hmm.
So that's...
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
Yeah, that's why this is fucking scary for you, because if I have lings show up right now and your Void Ray is, like, you know... The fact that it's late is scary in the first place. I could have totally killed your Nexus if I decided to move lings If I was the kind of Zerg player that goes, okay, because watch this, watch my speed. If I was the kind of Zerg player that was making lings already, okay, and I also went gas after pool this game. What if I'm the Zerg player that, like, most Zerg players go gas before pool? What if I make lings at like 310? And speed, if you go gas first, speed's gonna be done at 330. That is always what speed finishes at. If it's a 16, 18, 17, so speed finishes at like 330. So I make lings at like 310, or like, even what if I make lings at 3 minutes? Again, Zerg is very capable of doing this. And because again, what if my intention is, what if I'm like, fuck the third base of Protoss? I hate third bases of Protoss. So let's just say I'm like a really crazy Zerg player. You will run into these players every now and again. I run into them myself as Protoss. I know what you mean. Like, I play Protoss as well, and I play these people all the fucking time. It's like 3 minutes, they make 20 lings. They like their next inject around this time was all lings. So the lings spawn around 320, and then they spend 10 seconds, or like 317 to 320, lings all spawn, and they spend 10 seconds running across the map. So when speed finishes, their lings are already like right here, or like right here. Speed's done, and they quickly go from there to there in about the next like 10 seconds. And then suddenly by like 340, your third base is getting attacked by, like right around now, your third base is getting attacked by like 20 fucking lings. This is when, if a Void Ray was done earlier, and if your Pylon and Nexus were done right away together, the fact that you also don't build a Pylon right away is scary. Because this is how Zergs like that will break you. So the immediate, what you should be doing is Probe and Pylon, or Probe and Adept should be going together. You immediately make a Nexus and immediately make a Pylon right next to it. And then immediately put an Adept on the side of the Pylon, closer to the side of where the Probe is going to be. So if this is the Pylon, your Adept should be right there on the top right of the Pylon, and your Probe should be on the right side of it. That way, if lings show up, you can either make a Pylon to wall it off, or you make a Pylon below it to make a longer hallway, and then hold position the Probe in the hallway. That that automatically fucks over the Zergs who play like that. It's just, and it's already what you're doing. It's just more efficient versions of what you're doing, because it's safer and more solid. Your first Void could still move out across the map, but then if you realize, oh fuck, this guy's that kind of a player, and let's say your Void's like over here or like over here, and the Zerg came from this side, you could turn it around and go help, and be like, okay, go, you know, go help the fucking Pylon. And when the first Pylon's finally done, you could warp in another Adept like here in the gas or something, between the gas and the minerals, and it's not going to get good surface area again for the lings, because if the Pylon's like there, the Pylon field will probably stretch to the point where it could reach an Adept there. Or you just warp in a fucking Adept like up here and hope he doesn't focus fire it, because it finishes pretty fast. So maybe it gets a couple hits off before it dies. You just buy yourself some time, try to save the base, whatever you want to do. Or you warp in an Adept like right here and walk it forward and help. You have a lot of options, but your first Void could always help here. But if the Zerg player does not attack, you still have the safety of the first Pylon, the Probe, and you can always make the second Pylon if you need to. And you could then you could have your second Void back up the base while your first Void goes and hunts Overlords for now, and maybe even drones if you get all the way to his base. So that's what you should be doing, I would say, as a start with your first units. The way you're doing it kind of is risky. And we do a little bit of this is kind of a delayed ling attack, but what do? We actually kill your Adepts. Your second Void does come out and it does save. You make Zealots as a follow-up to it. I would say I don't like that at all. I don't like the Zealots that you made. I would say if you're going to make anything, definitely keep making Adepts for now. Because these Zealots, you are going to eventually go for charge, so eventually they're going to be useful. But making Zealots at this point is so just, I don't know, it's not good at all. I would say you really only ever want to make Zealots once you actually have charge like almost done. Or after it's done, then they're good. But these Zealots are going to sit here and guaranteed do nothing. But if you made Adepts, at least if you got this base set up, you could send 2 Adepts down here and like try to hit my drones. These Zealots are literally just like an anchor on your economy right now. They're not good. Because either one of Adepts or Zealots would have saved this base at this point. Okay, so your first Void turns around. So if you're going to do the thing where like your second Void goes to defend, you should leave one. Well, by the way, this is scary again. Leave a Void. So either Adepts or Void needs to defend this base. Now that this only has Zealots defending it, and your Voids are completely out of position, if I showed up with another wave, I could probably kill the Nexus of like 30 lings or something. The Nexus just dies. Another thing too, I know I keep saying another thing. Another thing that's really big is when your Probe is chilling, and you have now, let's say you have 2 Adepts, and you had the one Probe there, and you have 2 Adepts between the Pylon and the Nexus. 2 Adepts is definitely a lot better than 1 Adept. So like right here, for instance, when you had this setup going on, where now you have a 2nd Adept coming out and you warp it in, your probe should still be here, and it should only, you should be paying attention really hard to like the extended pylon wall thing while this one's building. But as soon as it's done, you move the probe away. So you don't leave it here the whole time, for instance. You only leave it here when the first pylon's building. When it's done, you move it around and you build a battery right there. You build a battery in your mineral line on the edge of range of the pylon. So like, probably like right there, like maybe like right there would be like perfect. Because now if you have a battery starting, this once again increases the level of power of defense of this base. And once you start that battery, then you're fucking safe to move your void rays out. But having this base batteryless is very scary. Like that's asking to die. And this 3rd base, the reason why I'm also stressing so hard about this 3rd base is because I'm sure every Protoss out there knows that if you want to go Skytoss against Zerg, as like you just rush voids into whatever, like a charge lot follow-up and whatever the fuck you want to do, if you lose your 3rd, it fucks your entire game up. And if you don't lose your 3rd, your build goes as smoothly as possible. It's like, oh, everything's great. But if you lose this 3rd to a speedling run by, and it all gets it either dies or it has to be canceled, and everything here else dies, pylon dies, adepts die, that sucks ass when that happens. So you have to be very careful about how you take a 3rd base, because again, there's nothing forcing me to not make a bunch of lings right now. I could totally do it if I wanted to, and if I do it and it works because I kill your 3rd, I have a lead because I have a 3rd and I can immediately shift gears into drones, and I can just make queens against low eco voids, and I'll never lose. Like I have such an advantage there. So anyways, you protect it and we move on from there. Now going further, you're still making probes. You're chrono boosting voids. I would say, honestly, this is my opinion. If you chrono boost voids, the first one is appropriate. I think the first chrono boosted void is appropriate. That's totally fine. However, do not chrono boost voids after void ray number 1 if your plan is to go for charge lots and archons and immortals and stuff like that as a follow-up. You should be chrono boosting probes instead. But if your plan is to go voids to the degree really fast, where you're gonna genuinely kill the fucking bases of Zerg, like you're gonna fly in and pop the main base as quick as possible, then multiple chrono boost on the Stargate makes sense. So like you're going for that like that sweet spot of like 6 or 7 voids really fast. If you're doing that, makes sense to chrono boost voids. If you're not, and you're gonna go really quickly into charge, don't chrono boost voids. Other than the first one. First one's always appropriate though, because it helps you like get that initial defense on your 3rd better. Does that make sense?
Makes sense to me.
Okay. You're like, wait, I just got back. I was having a beer.
No. I had my
No,
I had my headphones muted. I'm taking notes.
It's all good. You're all good. I'm just fucking with you. All right. So now voiders are coming over. This is the way you're moving them is fine. Whether you go to the 3rd or the natural, it doesn't matter. I would say on this map, it actually makes more sense to go to the 3rd, because if you go to the 3rd, you can always lure the queens here and then bounce into my main base.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that you retreat so fast, I would say that's missed opportunity. That right there, what that does to you, automatically you're behind now because you chrono boosted voids multiple times and you're doing no damage for it. Like this is the kind of shit that will put you behind. So if you're gonna play more passive with your voids like this, that's totally fine. But you should be chrono boosting your probes instead.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Okay, your voids are kind of chilling for a little bit. Now they go to the natural. You're poking around, killing my gas. I would say priority of killing things, if you're in range to do it, always number 1, kill drone. Number 2, kill an overlord. Number 3 would be kill the gas. If you're like not able to kill the hatchery. So I think the fact that you prioritize the gas there, you killed 1 overlord and a gas, and you killed no drones. When I think you could have, if I didn't pull my drones away, you could have killed 3 drones. And 3 drones would have been more value than an overlord and a gas, for sure.
Mineral field depleted. Job's done.
Okay, now you have 5 voids kind of sharking around. Also, think about your build. And then another thing about your build. Do not go double Stargate ever as an opener, once again, unless you're invested into killing my base. So if your build is going to be the build that flies in and blows up my main base, then once again, the second Stargate follows in a trend with chrono boosting your first Stargate, but you need to be a lot more assertive about how you're aggressive with them. And if you find yourself more often than not getting the damage done that you want, just don't build the
Get
Stargates like
coins
that.
at rally.io.
So instead, what I would say would be better if like right now you can see you're going for weapons on the ground. You already have charge now. If you're gonna do something like a fast charge follow up, just stay on one Stargate and make like 4 or 5 voids off of one Stargate and stop. And then you do a quick like 8 gateway, or anywhere between 8 and 10 gateways is great. 10's great. Like 10's super good if you want to be really aggressive. 8's good if you want to be like maybe faster fourth base. So it looks like you're gonna take a fourth base. So I would say 8 gateways for you would be great. Because you're not going to be all in with it. But if you actually went one Stargate with a really quick follow-up of Council, Forge, and while these are building, you make 8 gateways. And then you chrono boost out. So your chrono boosts initially go into probe. Once these buildings are done and you start +1 and charge, you stop chronoing probes, you start chronoing upgrades on both of these buildings. And then by then, your gateways should all roughly be finishing here pretty soon. So your other 6 gateways, because you made 2 here. Your other 6 gateways should be finishing as well, roughly around the same time. And now you're making fucking 8 gate. And you could also make something like this right here too. I love this. You could make your gateways at your third as well. So you can make like 4 of your gates at your third and like 2 more at your...
ViBE coin from rally.io.
Oh, Cyrus, thank you, man. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. You can make 4 of your gates at your third and like 2 more at your main base or whatever. Or you can make all 6 at your third base to really like get a super surround around the Nexus. And it would be an 8 gateway, 1 Stargate opener into a fourth base that pressures Zerg really heavily and switches you into Skytoss. You're doing both roads here where you're like way too heavy into the investment of Void Rays. And the Void Rays are not accomplishing what they want to be accomplishing right now. And then you're investing really heavily into the economy. And you're also investing into the over-investment of gateways. So you have, right now, you have a Robo, which is fine. You have, okay, there we go. You have 10, 11, 12 gateways. Actually, 13 gateways. You have 13 gates coming up right now. That's way too much for this point of the game. So again, double Stargate, anywhere between 8 and 10 gateways would be okay. But you got to realize if you go double Stargate, you're fucking kind of all in there. That does not mean take a fourth base. That means like if you take a fourth base, it means why'd you go double Stargate? It just means your build's inefficient. So if you want to go like, if you go okay, first of all, double Stargate, like I said before, double Stargate is all about heavy Void Ray aggression. So understanding your path of attack is very important. If you look at this map and you go, okay, if I don't hit the natural and go to the main, there's a lot of room here where I can get fucked up on, and the queens could easily rotate. Not a great choice to go there. If I go here, though, suddenly a great way to go, because I can lure the queens this way, make them come here in this area by killing drones, so they come here to fight my voids. I just dip and go here, and now I'm killing drones here, and the queens have to go all the way around. And when the queens get here, I dip and go back to the third. And you're fucking annoying that way. And maybe if the first time you dip and you make the queens go back this way, you pop the main base. So understanding that is what you need to know, that kind of shit on every map. What's the best avenue for minimal air movement with maximum ground movement? That's how you break the main. And like every time. And then on top of that, that's how double Stargate goes into that, like we said before. So if you go double Stargate, breaking the main is like the bare minimum, what you need to do. If you're not going to break the main, don't go double Stargate. So I would say for you, probably with the way it seems like it's the way it seems like you like to play, just stop going double Stargate to start the game. You can still go multi-Stargate later on. Like you can still eventually go Stargate Skytoss. Just don't start double Stargate. Just be single Stargate for now, because you'll still have plenty of Void Rays defensively to not die. Then, if you're the kind of player that wants to do 3 base heavy fucking aggression, 10 gateways is great with constant warp ends. If you're the kind of Protoss that likes to do what you're doing, which is take a fourth, so you're the kind of Protoss that likes to be conservative with voids and take a fourth, your build order should be 1 Stargate first. If you, with all the things we talked about at that point in time, go into 8 gateways into a fourth base. Once you take your 4th base and you start saturating your 4th base, you could extend your gateway count to 12 from 8, because you can actually successfully afford 4 gates per base, or it's not really exactly 4 gates, but forget that I said that. That's a different concept. You could easily afford 12 gateways if you're mixing in Immortals with Charge Lots and Archons off of 4 base economy. That's very, 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 very doable. So that could be your build order. Literally 1 Stargate off of an expansion with 2 gateways, go into a 3rd base. Once you have a 3rd base down, add in the upgrades, then add on an extra 6 gateways, then add on another Nexus for a 4th base, then add on another 4 gateways, and that's your power window. That's like the moment where you're like fucking full on pushing with Archons, Immortals, Charge Lots, and extra Voids from whatever were left over early game. Now at this point, you stop making Voids, and you now get ready to set up a 5th base, and you can now, whenever you feel ready to do it, add on a Fleet Beacon and more Stargates, however many you deem appropriate. If you add on 2 Stargates, it means you're going to be pressuring for a long time with Charge Lots, Archons, and Immortals. If you add on like 4 Stargates on top of the one you already have, so now you have like 5, it means now maybe you play more conservative with like Templars and Archons defensively, and you just do like Charge Lot run-bys every time Zerg attacks you. And you don't actually have an army of Charge Lot, Archon, Immortal anymore. You just play defensive with maybe also you add in some cannons into your base. And you just go for like defensive battery cannon storm while you go Sky Toss. Like those are ways you could play it out. But the way you're playing it out right now, again, you're just going down both roads of macro and aggression. And it's just slowing everything down.
You're attacking your probes. Watch your mineral line.
Okay, and now you got your Voids kind of sharking around back and forth again. You're kind of just sharking around the middle of the map, though. You're playing super conservative, so definitely 1 Stargate for you would be better.
Mm-hmm.
And now you see I have Hydra. But this is that moment for Protoss where I would say is scary. We'll look at the economy tab really fast. You actually have a pretty decent probe count. Like, imagine how much more probes you would have, too, if you chrono boosted nonstop on your Nexus. You spent less chronos on the Stargates. Like, you're doing a pretty good job, all things considered. It's not bad.
Yeah, but something that like I'm just realizing here is I mean I've hit 5K a couple times, and I usually in between 48 and 4900.
Yeah.
But the players that like I struggle with are like players that really have refined builds,
Yeah.
like in this case you,
Yeah.
or 1 base all-ins where I just kind
Yeah.
of flub the defense or something.
Yeah,
So
like-
this is extremely helpful.
Yeah, no worries. Other than that, like your mid game now, again, you're playing the conservative mid game here with your whole army as well.
Mhm.
So I definitely think you overmade gateways, like we talked about. When you made 13, 14 gates, whatever it was, you only needed 8 to accomplish the job you're doing right now, which is make defensive Archon Zealot and Templar.
Mm-hmm.
You'll totally be able to afford it. And also, if you think about it like this too, where you make less production, but you still maintain useful like effectiveness of said production. If your 4th base goes up faster as a result of that, because you play more conservative, because you're playing conservatively with your play style, you're just not playing as conservative with your build order. Your build order is kind of aggressive with how much production you make. Double Stargate into like 13 gates. You'd have a faster 4th, which will give you money faster, which would then in turn allow you to then add on more effective production faster, and you would actually max faster than you are right now. Like you could actually max faster than you are, even though you've lost nothing really to this point. You would actually be higher supply than you are now if you had a more effective build order for your playstyle, which is conservativeness. But the idea you're having, like, other than build order, you're doing everything fine. You're playing the conservative with Voids, you're forcing reactions out of Zerg, and you're playing conservative with Army until you get to a power spike. And now your power spike is right here when you're maxed out, basically. And you're pushing with Archon, Templar, Void, Charge Lot.
Oh, I lose a lot of charge lots here if I remember.
Yeah, but this is the point where this is where conservative, like, if you're gonna play conservative play, like, I think as well, one thing you're missing out on is you're missing the window for this to be effective. So if you're gonna play conservative literally nonstop to the point of like you just never want to attack until you're at this point now, because you got to realize, like your power spike is when all your upgrades finish, your unit composition's good to go, whatever, your things come online, things like that. But if you wait too long, which now in this case you're hitting me around 10 minutes, I've had time now to get lurkers going, and I have upgraded lurkers as well. Like I have a hive that is done right now. So if you're hitting a window where you're doing a charge lot, Archon, Void Ray attack on fully saturated 4 base after you've made static D, like this is pretty late. So that's why I was saying like it would make sense for you to be aggressive like when you start your 4th base rather than when your 4th base is fully done and you're now here. Because that would be like, even if you're doing 8 gateway aggression, it's conservative play. It doesn't mean like ram your army down the Zerg's throat. Only do that if he's breaking super easy because he just doesn't have enough to defend, like he over droned or something. But if the Zerg has a formidable defense and it's like, okay, I can't really kill everything here, this looks like kind of a scary army, just by all means you can totally back up and poke somewhere else. Maybe split your zealots in 50-50 and do another attack on the Zerg's base where you get his attention, and maybe try to do like half your zealots in the Zerg's natural just to see what happens. Maybe you kill queens, maybe you kill drones, maybe you don't. But even if it fails, it's conservative because it wasn't your whole army dying. So you can back up and, you know, go to the next step. But with the way you're playing it out, where you're going into very, very, very late Templar, Archon, and Void, I would say at this stage, once lurkers exist in the game now, you need to go into the counterattack aspect with charge lots. You no longer will ever push a front army. Like the whole point of this army is you kill Zerg before lurker. That's the concept of it. So you've missed the window to do that. And now that the Zerg has lurker, this army needs to now be zealots are counterattack only units, and you need to start switching into Sky Toss because that's what you're already going for. So I would say add in a couple more cannons around your bases. Play defensive. Like the second you saw this, fucking run away. Play defensive with Archons, Templar, and run your whole army back for now. You can continue to be aggressive with Charge Lot Void Ray just to try to get damage done. But make cannon, battery, and Templar at every base. So no matter where I attack you, I'm getting stormed and I'm getting killed by cannon, battery. And just make carrier in the meantime. Like stop making zealots like crazy. Only make zealots if all your Stargates are being fully utilized. And you at this point now, maybe even make like 1 or 2 more Stargates to go to a total of 4 or 5, because I see you only have 3. Just so you're making Stargates at an effective pace. And then also you can switch gears into chrono boosting your Stargates and also chrono boosting your upgrades for air. So the point is like you don't compromise your gas units, unless they're voids or whatever at this point, but you don't compromise your Archons or your Templar because they're just going to die if you've run in with charge lots here. So you keep these alive, and then charge lots just buy you time by keeping Zerg busy defensively. And even better, if you kill shit from Zerg economy, that's great. But the real thing is you keep Zerg busy defensively, because if Zerg stays on on Hydra Lurker and doesn't really add much on beyond that, and now you suddenly have Templar, Archon, Carrier, and like maybe even Mothership, that army is so much more scary for Zerg to deal with than before. And the only way Zerg deals with that now is with Spellcaster. So it changes the game into a whole other level of game, which you can like stalemate the game out. If the Zerg player never takes Spellcasters for a long time, and I'm not going to lie, around 5k MMR, me as a Protoss player, a lot of Zergs don't take Spellcasters there. They fucking don't. They just like push you with Hydras over and over and over until you fall over or until they die. So we'll see what you do here. I can't remember what you do exactly. I do remember the Zealots die because I surround your Zealots with Zerglings. You try to run away, but I would say that reaction was a bit late, because the second you saw the Lurkers, you should have ran away. Like you should just realize you're never winning here once Lurkers are out, because this always fails when Lurkers exist.
I think I'm trying to do like a Zealot run by on the top because I thought you might have had the like the 3 o'clock base there.
Yeah.
So I think I took my eye off it, but yeah, I lost a lot there.
Even again, that's like not even game losing right there. That sucks. But the big thing is you didn't lose this. The Templars and the Archon. That's important.
Give it time.
Well, yeah, right. But
I think I'm about to actually.
The way you run it is super risky. You're running it directly on creep now. You should definitely be running it back home immediately. Because that's what matters here. And then you do run. I think I kill this. I remember now. You run directly on creep, and I just surround you and kill you. And I also kill your run by. So the fact that you're out here without a care in the world, being like, I'm killing creep, boy, that sucks. Because all that does now, all your Templars dying, all that does now is that resets how long it's going to take you to really set up Sky Toss. Because that right there was 750 gas you just threw in the trash. And that was also time, because that's not only 750 gas you threw in the trash in terms of Templar, but those Templars all had like 2 storms each almost. Like they were out for a while. So that's if you make new Templar, they don't even have 1 storm yet. You have to wait for a while to even just build up to that point.
Yeah, this was the moment where like I was feeling like we were for the most part even, like relatively.
Yeah.
But once I lost that, I thought, okay, now I'm behind. Like this
Yeah.
game is just changed.
Yeah. And the fact that you attempted another Zealot run by, I just saw it on the minimap here a second ago. That's good. You should definitely
Yeah.
be attempting that. And if the Zerg is really good and they're good at map awareness, if they're going to catch you, that's how ZVP goes. But ZVP right now, you just attempted a charge lot Archon phase of the game, which failed because you missed your window for all the reasons we already explained. And now lurkers exist, so it failed. But you still doing attempted charge lot run bys is still good. So the Zealots that died over here, good. The Zealots that died over here, good. The only thing that was bad behind that, besides the fact that you missed your timing, was all your gas here dying. Because if you had a Templar here, your Zealots being run by keeps me somewhat defensive because I'm trying not to lose my economy. But if you had Storm here, I would do nothing to you. I would like run into you, I'd get stormed, and I have to run away. I would have to run away. Because if I try to like micro it to where I spread my units out so hard where Storm is ineffective, it means that Battery, Cannon, and Void Ray and Archon are super effective against staggered out Hydras because I don't have enough DPS to overpower you. And if I clump up to actually overpower all your units that are like Cannon, Battery, Void Ray, whatever, I get AoE'd by Storm. So you have both counters right now because you have Cannon, Battery units where my stagger sucks and blah, 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 blah. You get it. I'm about to repeat myself. But the fact that you don't have Storm means I can stack up and I can fight you and not give a shit. So now I can overpower Cannon, Battery and your army. And now killing those Zealots doesn't matter, but killing these Archons does. Killing the Templar does. Killing Voids does. So you just lost all your Archon except for 1. And the Zealots, again, they're replaceable. They're like Zerglings. Who gives a shit? They don't matter. They literally, what they do is they buy you time to build things that matter, like gas units. And now that was painful for you because this is starting to cascade into a position for you where you are depleting your bank account, as you can see in the top left and in top right. You have no bank, and you're not even close to max anymore. So now you're gonna have a much harder time actually handling Hydralisk. And even worse, it's not even just that. Even worse, because of all the gas you've lost and the way the game is set up now, you've lost, like, time is a resource that is really important in ZVP, and you have now lost a lot of that, which is why my creep is starting to consume you. When a Zerg has creep like this, you're fucked. Like, it's just like, okay, well, now it's hard to even take a 5th base because creep is literally at my door, essentially. And even further, if it gets to the point where it covers the base, you're just like, okay, I can't even build the fucking Nexus anymore. That really sucks. So this is scary for you because it gives me maximum mobility for relocating my aggression or relocating my defense wherever I want to go. And it also shows me exactly where you are, so I can start to slowly push you into a corner and kill you with Spellcaster and Static D setup. So you definitely do not want to ever let creep get like this against Zerg. So what you can do now, see how you're launching a Zealot run by? And I actually play it safe, and I scout you with Changelings, and I pull back, and I see your Zealot run by, so I go deal with it. What you should be doing is you should be attempting with your army now to go, okay, I know he's not on the right side of the map yet because his units aren't killing my Zealots on the right side of the map, and you should be starting to get ready to move out on the left side of the map, and the second you confirm that I'm going to kill your Zealots on the right side of the map, you should poke my creep on the left side. Like, use your Zealots to buy you time to kill my creep. Because the more blind I am as a Zerg player, the more safe and passive I'm going to play. Otherwise, if I don't play safe and passive, and I just randomly walk into Fog of War, the chances are higher that you're going to take a good fight and kill me. Because Zerg off creep versus Protoss off creep is pretty shitty for Zerg. All it takes is like 1 second of me walking in a bad spot, and you storm me, and I'm just like, oh, that fight was terrible, and now I'm fucked. So you run the Zealots back. That was great. You saved the Zealots as well for the most part. You try to. But look at your army. Your army goes back defensively now, and it does not take advantage of anything there. Because imagine if your Zealots were right here, As you went, oh, Zerg's here. Let's start running. Like, let's start running up here now. And then your carriers are pushing this side, and they're just killing creep. You're killing this base. As a Zerg player, I am not going to go, you know what, let's fucking base trade right now. I'm going to go, all right, maybe I send some Zerglings at those Zealots, and I pull my army down now, and I go try to defend my base, which I have to run all the way back for. So maybe by the time you kill creep all the way down to the edge of this hatchery, my Hydras show up as your carriers have killed these creep timbers right here. And then you pull back again. And then maybe you reverse it, and the next time you send Zealots this way, maybe even with an Observer, or whatever, maybe just Zealots only, and you send your carriers up this way, and you kill all the creep up here as your Zealots threaten an attack down here. So at this stage, while you're trying to build up a scary army, you're just trying to threaten the Zealot run-bys to buy you time to kill creep. That was a nice defense on my Zerglings. But now look what I did. I threatened Zergling counterattack, and I pulled you into a bad spot. So if I did get the Zergling counterattack, that would have been great, right? Oh, a lot of probes die. Wonderful. But I pulled you into a spot that was like, hey, I'm making him defend this because this is the first thing he sees. And suddenly I fuck up your fourth base.
Yeah, when I set those Zealots, I just didn't feel confident enough to... Like, what you're saying makes complete sense to me. But I did not feel confident enough to move out with my army yet. Which, I mean, again, I think I said it earlier, like, at this point in the game, I kind of knew that you were just going to win. But,
yeah. Well, I mean, you would feel more confident if you didn't lose the gas here, right? Like, if you played more conservative all the way through it, and you were storming defensively, building up your Sky Toss, you could very quickly build up Sky Toss if all your gas is defensive, and you have 4 bases mining it. Like, even right now, you can still win this game. It's just conservative play, and it's hard. I'm not going to lie. It's going to be hard for you now. It's not like, oh, it's easy. It's definitely going to be hard. So you doing this right here, great. That's fucking wonderful. Look what you just did. You pulled me back.
I should have moved out, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you have the ability right now to push this side. You have the ability to push this side down here. You could push either side. You could kill all the static D before it's done. Like, you don't know it yet, but you should have the idea of, I pulled Zerg back, so let's push Zerg forward. Like, push him back further now in the front of what he's doing, which is his creep. But your army just sits there and just kind of chills for a bit, and you play way too safe. And then while you're playing super safe, you finally start pushing out now, but you do it way after the prism is way over here now. This is way beyond the timing you did with that prism attack. So by the time you start killing creep, I'm already like arriving to fight you. And now here's the crazy thing too.
In ViBE you coin from rally.io.
Yo, D4T, thank you, man. Much love. The crazy thing as well is you're pushing me when you have no recollection or no vision of where my army is. You have no idea. Before you saw where I was, and it was safe to push my creep. But now you're like, I don't fucking know. For all you know, I could have like burrowed infestors lining up on you right here, and like they're about to neural everything, which is super scary. Like, I mean, obviously you don't know what it is.
Yeah, and I think I started to realize it too, and that's why I didn't continue pushing. I was like, nah, this is way too late.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. I think I do push out a little bit later, and you catch me kind of in the same spot if I remember. But
yeah, well, like, look at your army now. It's becoming way better. You have a bunch of Archons. You got a decent amount of, not enough carrier, honestly. You have a decent amount. You got a decent amount of Templar. Actually, maybe a little too many Templar, to be fair. It's a lot of fucking Templar. You want to make probably 8 and stop.
It's supposed to be Archons. the ones at the top at least.
Sure. Yeah, that's fine. They might become Archons. Okay, good. That's good. So 8 Templar. You have 9. So 9, or maybe these 2 become an Archon. I don't know. But 9 Templar is fine. 8 is, I would say 8 is perfect. Anywhere around 8 is nice. Archon wise, I would say you want to have about 5. You have literally 5. That is great. I would say for other units in your composition though, you have 4 Voids, you have 2 Adepts, you have an Immortal, you have 2 Zealots, you have and 2 Observers is good, but I would say you want to get rid of the Immortal, and you want to get rid of the Adept, and you want to get rid of the Void and the Zealot. The Zealots come and go, and that's fine. The 2 Zealots you have right now are legit. One, I don't know where the other one is. It's guarding the door. One's guarding the door.
One's in the door.
And one's up here in the top right. This guy does not need to be here. Like, this is a waste of supply. Like, just leaving supply there to be like, if you expand, I'm gonna kill it. I would say that is something that you could do in lower league, but as you get higher, not necessary. The only time that would ever make sense is if like this is the last space I could take, and you really want to have tabs on like when I take it or something like that. If it was really important for what the space is. But what you should be doing is you should be attempting to check my bases regardless and check my creep the whole time. So you're going to see this base indirectly if you're keeping up the process of checking creep and bases throughout the game with going left and right over the map and playing the map. But this is all this does. It kind of develops a bad habit, I would say, where it just kind of proves that you might not ever check this base for a long time, which is why you leave a Zealot here, because you're not playing the game the way you should be, which means you're playing way too defensive.
Oh yeah.
So, because what this all means is that's voids are 4 supply, I believe, right? Yeah, that's 16 supply in voids. That's 4 supply in adept. That's 4 supply in zealot. That's 4 supply in immortal. So that's 16 plus 8 plus 20 plus 24 plus 28. That's 28 supply in units that are kind of shitty right now and don't matter. And immortals would be good if I was going for Ultralisk. If you actually caught wind of, like, I was going for, like, Ultralisk Hydra instead of, like, Lurkers or some shit, because I was going to try and run your Templar over with Ultra, then having a couple of, like, 3 Immortals in your army is wonderful. Super good at dealing with that shit. But if I'm not going Ultra, Immortal are literally useless, I feel like, at this stage. They're not that great. I would rather you go, like, they're okay. I'll actually take the Immortal out. The Immortal's okay. He's not the worst. He's actually decent against Lurkers as well. But generally speaking, if you have, like, a couple ground units, the Immortal's going to run in, and he's just going to get shit on by, like, 10 Lurkers. So that's why I say it's kind of scary. So I'll just take him out. So 24 supply is what you have in other units that I feel like are just being wasted right now. And 24 supply is the same as 4 carriers. So although you're not maxed out yet and you're still trying to build up, if you stay on units like this throughout the game, it's going to fuck you in the end, because it's just going to make your death ball weaker, and voids legit kind of suck ass once the Zerg is, like, fully maxed out with, like, a very strong diverse army. Voids definitely don't pull their weight for supply anymore. That's definitely annoying for you, losing probes and shit. It's whatever. Just trying to fix those problems as best you can, and now you board twin zealots. Definitely send those zealots out now and go do something with them instead of leaving them there. Fix the pylons and shit like that. Army's moving out here. You're kind of poking around. Also, zealot run
Did I
bys.
leave one? No, jeez.
Well, zealot run bys, one thing that's really big about them too is you need, like, playing the game left and right. The way I'm saying, like, how you need to instead of leaving a zealot there, you need to be attempting zealot run bys left and right, because it is a form of scouting, not only for what bases exist, but it shows you where my army is located. So you should always try to alternate. If you go left with a zealot run by, set your army up to the right. If your zealot run by runs into my army, you can poke my creep, and then, you know, if you're the one who needs to be more aggressive because I have more of the map, you counter aggressively attack the other side of the map with your army, which pulls me that way. You can then set up another zealot run by on the other side of the map again, and you can keep doing this process while you run away with your main army. Then the zealots show up. I go back to deal with the zealots. You re-push with the main army, and once you kind of, like, stabilize that side of the map, you can rotate the process to the other side. And now suddenly zealots are on the side with no creep, so it makes your run-bys even more powerful, because I will see run-bys at a later pace, so they get closer to my base before I realize they're happening, which means higher chance to kill drones. So zealot run-bys are literally they're legit your form of scouting. They're like your changelings, essentially, for Zerg, and like your Zerglings. So it's just really keeping tabs on where I am. And now at this stage, see how you're taking a big fight, and you're taking it with 6 carriers? You don't want to do this. This is asking to die. Like, let's look at what the supply, like, the resources lost when the fight starts. 16,888 for you versus 9,225 for Zerg. What is it going to end at when this fight's over? Okay, fight is over now. And look at that. You just lost like 3,200 versus I just lost 100. And all that did to you was it puts you in a deeper hole again that you now have to once again climb out of, where you're waiting to hit that good army. A good army for Protoss in this situation is legit something like 14 carriers, or like 12 carriers, like 8 Templar, 5 Archons, a mothership with a couple of observers, and then if you have any supply excess left over from that, zealot run-bys with either a prism or just zealot run-bys. And you can even have a dark shrine that you can mix DTs into your zealot run-bys. But your army is so undervalued because you have a bunch of voids in it. You got fucking zealots in your army. You got adepts in your army. I think the adepts are dead now as well. Oh no, they're still alive. They're in the prism actually.
I think they're in the
chilling
war
here.
prism that
Yeah.
I neglected to use.
Yeah. So like, it's just never actually try to push the Zerg for a real fight until you're at full power. Like that army I just said a second ago. That's like full fucking power Protoss. And if you ever push before that, things like what we just showed you with the resources lost, that's gonna happen to you every fucking time. And it's gonna put you in a deeper hole, and you're never gonna come out of it, and you're gonna just slowly die. Because again, time is a resource, right, for ZVP. And what, like, this is good. This buys you time, but you just gave up like 2 minutes by doing that attack. Like you just deleted 2 minutes from yourself, and now this right here probably buys you like 20 seconds. And now creep is like getting to that scary point, right, where it's like everywhere. The only bases you have are the only bases that don't have creep at them. And now another base dies. And I think the reason why we did that as well is because I think you revealed your army on my creep. You did. You don't have an observer because all your observers died to fungal. So you actually revealed where you are, which showed me to push you. So you, again, that's another thing too. Don't reveal your main army's location unless you're gonna fucking kill something. So the fact that you're kind of just, I think you're just randomly going left, right, left, right, left, right with your army without really understanding why you're doing it. You're just kind of like, I feel unsafe right now, and Zerg is fucking scary. Maybe we'll just do like a little seesaw of like unit rotation, like left, right. And when you rotated left with me going, oh, he's left, I kill base on right now. And then I kill your base and I just leave your base right after. I don't even fight you. I don't think I do. I think I just go, cool, I killed the base. Let's just get out of here.
Run, yeah. I think I went left because I thought I still had an observer. And then I realized like, oh, they both died. Okay. And then but yeah, at that point it was just too late.
Sure. I mean, that's...
but what you're saying makes sense.
Yeah, it's the concept, right? It's so like you missing an observer there, that might happen to you one time, but keep in mind in the future, always, like if you're gonna fly over creep, you better have the intention to kill creep. And then you also, if you're gonna do that, you better know where my army is, which is not about to kill your 4th base or 5th base or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's what Zealot tells you as well. Zealot's run by, if I was currently defending my base in middle right because you were having Zealots there, and then you push my creep in middle left, that would make more sense than you not knowing where I am and my creep is already touching your 5th, and I can just quickly pop up, pop up, pop down. And now at this point, if you make too many mistakes like this, you're getting to a point now where, like now look, you're pushing again and you have no recollection of where my army is. You have no idea. And your army is not at deathball status. You have 5 carrier and 2 Tempest, and you know, you have, the only thing you're good on is Templar, which is 10, which is even a little bit over. But everything else you're supposed to have, you're under an Archon, you have 1 observer, you have no mothership, you have 5 carrier. You're so low on everything that if the fight actually happens again, even if you don't die right here, you're gonna guarantee you die in the future because you're gonna lose too much shit here. So like, let's look at resources lost again, right? When this fight, let's see when it starts. Or okay, it doesn't start. My army happened to just be in the other place. That was like a luck right there. It was like, hopefully he's not here, and I happen to be on the right side, so you got lucky. The fight never happened. And now you revealed the right side of the map again, so we actually pushed your base. And now this is turning into like a semi-base trade to a degree. But you actually come all the way back, so this is brutal. And now the fight's going to start here. And now let's look at resources. You have 24,533 for Protoss versus 1,400 for Zerg, or 14,000 for Zerg. And now, what is going to die from this? This is when the fight's really starting to start, I would say. Like, your army has now arrived and the shit's going to hit the fan. What dies for both sides? Like, this might go okay for you, it might not. The only thing I would say that's the benefit for you is that I am actually kind of fighting you off creep here. That is definitely an advantage for you. And, you know, it's at your base, so your pylon vicinity is close here, so you can warp in quickly to help you add more shit to your army. But again, this is one of those things where for Zerg, this is still fine too, because I just killed a lot of your economy, and I have a fucking humongous bank. So even if I lose units here, I don't mind losing units here. I just remake them, and if I kill some more of your army while you're defensively postured, I can make them again before you get to my base. So this is that moment where you're in the game where you're just kind of like, it's rough. The fact that you moved out and lost those expansions like that sucks for you because now your income is very low. So if we hit go on the fight, we'll just see what the overall trade ends up being. And all said and done with that fight, Zerg just lost 1,500 15.7 minerals, so 1,570. Or Jesus, it's 1,700. I don't know why math was so hard for me. 1,700, and Protoss just lost about 2K. So that was about that was almost an equal trade right there. And equal trades at this point suck because if you look at the income, that's not equal income.
It's not sustainable.
Yeah. So yeah, it's
By
just,
the way, we're way over, and I really appreciate that.
No, it's okay.
So
We're
I'll
basically
send
done.
you some extra payment though for your time.
It's okay. You don't, if you want to, I appreciate it. You don't have to.
I do want to.
Well, thank you very
good.
much. You're too nice.
Take my money.
Yeah. But yeah, now it's when the game gets to this point, there's only so much you can say because again, Protoss versus Zerg late game is all about throwing a bank account at each other, like we talked about at the very beginning. This comes like full circle now, and when you have the advantage, like you should always be testing your opponent, being like, because it's scouts. It's like, can I set up on the right? Can I set up on the left? Can I set up on the right? Can I set up on the left? And it's about zoning the main army while scouting for it and trying, at least if you can, to pressure the side where the army's not, where the Zerglings and Zealots and things like that. But now that you don't have the economy to deal with what I have anymore, I can throw fucking 1,000 minerals at you and you can try to respond with 100 and I'll still win. Like, even if I lose that, like, I can still take even trades that are 10-to-1 shit trades because you're, like, I have such a bank that's developed at this point that I just have unlimited money, basically. So now I can throw money at you constantly over and over and over, and I will start to break you. And this happens on both sides. So either side that gets the advantage through the developing stages of the game. So the Protoss gets the advantage if you fuck my creep over as Zerg and you just kind of, like, limit me as expansions. And your Sky Toss is super scary. It's just in the area, just scary as fuck. And obviously the same thing happens for Zerg if my creep is everywhere and I have tons of economy and I have limited your what should be Sky Toss, which is kind of now Ragtag. It's not really Sky Toss anymore. Now at this point, Zealots or Zerglings will no longer be scouts. They will be base killers, and my Lings will now literally start killing your fucking expansions. So your Sky Toss is now going to feel pressured to actually go defend top middle because you're losing Zealots, you're losing cannons. The battery overcharge is like trying its best to keep shit alive. But look at production look at production time for Zerg here. I'll just crank out another wave of Lings and do it again. And it's the same thing you should be doing as Protoss, doing the same fucking thing. Just crank out another wave of Zealots and do it again. And just keep breaking them because they won't ever keep up with it. Meanwhile, if you can keep zoning out the main army and keep forcing little trades here and there, that's also great. Once you have the lead. But if you don't have the lead, the best thing you can do is try to fortify your base and take cost-efficient fights. If you don't do that, you're guaranteed gonna die. You'll never win a base trade at this point, and you'll never win. You'll never win a situation where you're also just roaming the map for a big fight in the middle of nowhere. The only way you'd win is if you actually secure bases and somehow Zerg takes bad fights and you lose, or he loses fights. But again, like the game doesn't start like this. It's developed into a point where you've made like a lot of mistakes to get you here now, and the only way you win from here is super defensive cost efficiency. And now you can see my Lings are gonna roam again. They're all spawning. And my units are setting up in the middle of the map. My Lings are setting up in top right to go attack your top right base again. Lings attack top right. Meanwhile, army hits the expansion you just set up, and your army's in the middle of the map, so you're not defending. You know what I'm saying? So like it's guaranteeing you're gonna die. And then my Lings are also now are so fucking strong because again we're throwing money at you that you can't afford, that we're breaking your base now. Like your cannons are now dead. Now it's just Zealots, and now we're gonna make Lings again. So you do this. It's the same thing on both sides. Both sides do the same thing with the Zealot and Zergling thing every time. You just keep pressuring it on over and over, and now you can't hold it this time, and you die. So like you don't even actually die to the army. Like this is, you always want to defend with your army in ZVP. You never want to attack. I feel like you're putting yourself in a situation too many times where you want to attack. Sky Toss defensively and Lurker, Hydra, Spore defensively, both of those are fucking super strong. That's why you want to push in, like the Zerg wants to get you out of position so he can push his Lurker Hydra further forward defensively on you. So it's on creep, it's in spores, and it's ready for you to like engage it. So you have to engage into the Zerg defensively because Zerg can be defensive here or here. It does not matter. If it's got creep and spores, it's defensive. and he's like already fortified. He's already set up the army, like spread it out. Everything's ready to go. But if I randomly as Zerg walk all over fucking Fog of War and I go, oh, I'm gonna fight right here with nothing set up, you have the advantage because Zerg needs setup to take good fights here. Which if you let them do it, if you let them spread their creep and set up fights on you, they'll always take good fights against you. There's a better chance, not always, but there's a better chance Zerg will have a better fight. But if Protoss has the moment where it's like spur of the moment, off creep, fights happening within 1 second, Protoss definitely gets a better fight there because Storm is way more instantaneous damage than Fungal is, and Carriers do way more burst damage than Hydras do. So off, like, spur of the moment fights are better for Protoss, but even then, like, no creep at all. If the Zerg pushes off creep and you're defensively on cannon battery, even fucking better. That's like, now it's like the reverse. Now Protoss has the defender's advantage where you have batteries and cannons assisting the fight, and that's fucking huge at keeping you like sustained throughout the battle. So hopefully all of that makes sense. You have any questions about anything?
No, I mean, honestly, that was fantastic. I think that I think you're complete, like the way that you broke down the 2 Stargate means pressure versus 1 Stargate. Like the 1 Stargate, I think does suit how I want to play.
Yeah.
So that makes a lot of sense. Like I didn't even realize how much supply I had and just kind of like useless army, like you said.
Yeah.
So knowing that, understanding more when I always try, I don't always do it, but I try to take fights only kind of on my terms. But like clearly just watching this, like I don't think I took one fight that I really wanted to. So your explanation of that helped a lot.
Yeah. It's definitely a push and pull defender's advantage is what you want to set up, and then Zealot Zergling run bys is what both players want to do in this matchup when they play late game. All right, dude.
Cool.
Well, thank you very much for doing a lesson, and I appreciate that, you know, the incentive of what you said where you want to do a tip as well. Dude, you have to do that, but the fact that you said you wanted to do it, now you can't take it back. No,
It's the right thing to do.
I'm just
honestly.
joking. Yeah,
So
I appreciate it. Much love, man. But yeah, good luck, and you know, by all means, come ask me questions in chat. You're more than welcome to hang out, and you know, I'll try to answer stuff for you. You don't have to always buy a coaching lesson if it's something simple, and it's like ViBE asking this specific question. What do you think about that? I'll definitely always try to answer it. You know how I am. But yeah, dude, good luck, and thanks again for doing it, and good luck. Or I just said that like 5 times. Sorry, I'm also doing the fucking rally coin stuff right now. But thank you, man. Take it easy. I'll see you next time.
take care. Thanks.
Okay. Jesus. I was repeating myself like 10 times there. Guys, thank you for watching on YouTube. Appreciate it. Hope you guys enjoyed this lesson. I do lots of these, so if you guys want to see more lessons for Terran, Zerg, or Protoss, even more Protoss stuff, there's tons of stuff on my YouTube channel. Lots of Bronze to GM stuff if you want to have guides on just like simply going through the ladder. But thank you for hanging out. Hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. I will see you all in the next video. So until then, good luck in your own games for the 17th time. And I will see you next time. Later, everybody. See ya.